Alright, so now for another quick video. This one's going to be an introductory video looking at how we can multiply whole numbers and fractions. We're going to emphasize a very visual approach to what we're doing today. So I would suggest possibly having some different colors as you're following along to show some of the different thinking. And as always, make sure that this goes into your binder when we are done. Before we start actually looking at fractions, I want to take a little bit of time to talk about what does multiplication mean and just kind of review that. So if we think about the fact that just a real life situation, maybe we have my daughter Riley and she wants to give 5 cookies to 3 of her friends at daycare. So we want to know how many cookies would you need. In this situation, I'm going to draw a visual model. So what we're going to have is we have her 3 friends. So here's friend number 1, here's friend number 2, friend number 3. And each of those 3 friends is going to get 5 cookies. So our multiplication problem that we would see is 3 groups of 5 or 3 times 5, which would give us 15 cookies. The part I really want to emphasize is this part here, the 3 groups of 5. Because oftentimes I will have students that will do 5 times 3. And now 5 times 3 will give us the same answer. This would actually, in terms of what we're doing, mean 5 groups of 3. And that's not what we're looking for in this particular situation. So being really mindful of the order in which we're multiplying the numbers. So how is this going to apply to fractions? Well, let's look at a similar type of situation. But this time we're going to say that Gavin, my son, wants to give 2/5 of a pizza to each of his 4 friends. How much pizza will he need? So looking through the situation, picking out the key information, this time we have 2/5 of a pizza and he has 4 friends. So I'm going to start by drawing out his 4 friends. And then looking at, in this case, 2/5 of a pizza. So I'm actually going to take the friends and split them into fifths. to represent the pizza that they are each getting. And each of them is going to get 2/5. So our multiplication sentence would be 4 groups of 2/5, or 4 times 2/5. So in this case, we can see that we have 2, 4, 6, 8 slices of pizza, each of them being 1/5 of a pizza. So in the end, we have 1 full pizza and 3/5 of another pizza. If you wanted to see what that would look like visually, instead of using all the same colors, I'm going to think about drawing out and adding in the pizza as we go. So the first friend would be red, maybe the second friend, 2/5 would be black, the third friend is going to be blue, and then the fourth friend would be green. And then here we can see that we would have 1 full pizza and then 3/5 of an additional pizza. So now I'm going to have you try one on your own. This time what I want you to represent is 5 groups of 1/3. So why don't you pause the video, draw it out, and see if you can reach a solution. Remembering that I do want a visual to go along with this because that's what we're emphasizing today. Alright, so 5 groups of 1/3 is going to be the same as 5 times 1/3. So I'm going to draw out my groups. So I have my 5 groups, and this time we're just split into thirds. And then I'm going to color in my 1/3 in each of my 5 groups. So when we take 5 times 1/3, we end up with 5/3, which would be the same as 1 2/3. If we wanted to see that visually, okay, here's my first third, my second, my third. So now I need an additional circle, my fourth, and my fifth. And then we can see that all together there's 1 2/3 shaded. Now I'm going to give you a visual, and I want to see if you can come up with an addition sentence and a multiplication sentence for the problem. So this is our first one. So in this one, when you look at it, what would be a possible addition sentence that we could write? Well, each circle has 2/3 of it shaded in, so we could represent addition with 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3, which would be the same as 3 groups of 2/3, which we could write as 3 times 2/3. In this case, our 3 times 2/3 gives us a total of 6/3 that are shaded, which would give us an answer of 2 altogether. Essentially what would happen is this piece would fill in this circle, and this piece would fill in this circle. What about this problem though? What addition sentence and what multiplication sentence could this be represented by? Addition, we see that we have 1/2 plus 1/4, which would give us a total of 3/4, because we could create that common denominator. In this case, though, there would not be a multiplication sentence because the amount that is being added is different both times. So there isn't a common amount. There isn't multiple groups of the same quantity. So we wouldn't actually use multiplication in this situation. So go ahead and try our practice for today. Make sure if you have any questions, you let me know, and then get these notes into your binder.